hair's about 8 o'clock, a couple minutes after 8. And I've got on my comfy clothes. And I've got on the sweater. And hopefully it will protect all my black. I've got black leggings and black sweater on. I've got on this orange sweater. I'm going to dig through my fur and see what I can find. Now these are like old sables, neck wraps. And I'm going to see if I can turn it into a mantle, which may mean I have to sew several together. Because some are thin, some are not. But I thought, well, I might as well show y'all the process. This one's nice and long. That's a nice one. It'd be nice if I could cut them strips and do like stripes or patches. That would be kind of neat. I think I cut the end off this one, yeah. Did I cut the end off this one? No. Okay, here's a lighter one. Oh, cut the end off that. Let's not use that one. Let's save that one for beards. This one. This is a nice one. This is a thicker one. So I can do like a couple of those together. So a couple of those together. There's a collar. That would be nice to use right around the neck. And there's a collar. Let's pardon. Oh, and here's like a multicolored one. This is kind of neat. This is a multicolored one. Huh. You could do a lot with that. Oh, we might be onto something here, y'all. This is about what I've got to work with. So what if I do this and then maybe right through here at this brown collar and that still got a hook and eye on it. Huh. Add this. I don't know if I like that collar or not. I don't know, it's kind of nice. You kind of fade that in right there. Oh, you did. Did you see where I put more of the beaver hides on Etsy? See, I'm thinking we could use like 3 or 4 of these to make and keep layering out. Just have to sew them together really, really particularly. I do like this one right here with this brown, but then I've got this longer brown right here that could go on the outside to where it hangs over the shoulders a little bit. I think I'm onto something, y'all. And then I've got my clasps actually in the mailbox. I ain't going to the mailbox today. Are you? No. So we could sew all these together in layers. And then put this one on the outside. The good thing is all these have satin backing. And then hook that in. It's going to hang over the shoulders. I can kind of pull this up sewing and put the clasp like right here. Fade this collar in when I sew it. Put the clasp up here. And then you can always leave it around. You can go back and like cut dangles from these bigger ones to hang off the back. Or I could even use this one to cut dangles to hang off the back to make it not as even around the back. To where it's got strips of stuff hanging down. I make somebody just a nice little affordable fur mantle to wear to a Renaissance fair. That's not going to cost you $224. My good grief, people on Etsy. Pump your brakes. But it was pretty, and it was a full fox hide. But now $224 for just putting a clasp right here. I just have problems with that. That was probably a $6 clasp. Anyway, I think we could do magical things with this. And kind of reshape that to where it has more of a point to it. I can sew those in at a gradient to where it goes straight down. And then add some more danglies off the back. Because I've got all of this left. And y'all, you can get these almost anywhere. I think this one's pretty. You can get these almost anywhere for super cheap, super affordable. They're just old vintage or antique sables wraps. And you just can turn them into anything. I have a hard time letting them go when I see them. Because I'm like, oh, I can do so much with that. I can make beards. I can do fur accents on dream catchers. I just have a hard time letting them go to the garbage because I'm like, I can use that. Anshul's looking at us very condescendingly up there, if y'all can see him. Anshul's being a judge. David's Christmas present's beeping. But yeah, I think we can do some wonderful things with this. Yeah, it's not a bomb. He thinks it's a bomb. Okay, even this gray one would be kind of pretty with another color. This gray one would be more like a female, and this would be more like a men's. But I mean, you can do a lot with these things. You could even put this one on the outside, put this one on the inside. I'm basically playing pretty up with y'all to see what I want to sew. And see how these curve inside, you can turn them, you can turn it the other way if you really wanted to and make it work. And sew it the other way. That's kind of pretty with all the colors. I just broke a nail. That's kind of pretty with all the colors. I kind of like that. And then add some dangly doopies in certain places. I mean, if I was going to a Renaissance fair, I would rather spend like $60 than $224. Just saying. And it's a hide. It's not like supposed to look perfect. So that's where I can have leniency with what I do. I think this is kind of cute. My peach cobbler's almost done, y'all. My peach cobbler's almost done. Let's see here. And if I wanted to, I could take like part of a raccoon hide or part of Cody pelt and put a real live edge on it of a real, like one of our tanned animals and make it even more rustic. I broke a nail. My zebra nails. I broke a nail. But I'm thinking we could turn this into something. What do y'all think? I think it could be something. I think even this big poofy one could be part of it. There's a lot of possibility here. Maybe that could be the ooh, be a big Nordic Viking. Ooh, and then use these to make danglies. Strip it, just take the back off and strip the fur, the hair, and put danglies everywhere where it's not like a perfect edge. You could even just take it and cut it in two in the middle and just loop it around on the edge. That would be something. My nose is itching. And the good thing about these is they're not as like hairy as live fur. This is mixed rabbit, and I think it's gorgeous. And it's already got a chain on it for a clasp. But my clasps are in the mailbox. Let me get my peach cobbler out of the oven if it's ready. We're getting there. It's not hardly. Give it 5 more minutes. Give it 5 more minutes. I've got this. I can't use this raccoon hide because this belongs to a little boy that David had it tanned for, so that's out of the question. And then I do have some scraps in here that I was using for beards that I can go on and I can attach to it and use if I really, 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 really wanted to. But I think this one's going to be my base. Just because it's weird looking. It's already got a hook and eye. Of course, I can replace it and put it with mine if I don't like the way that looks. Mine has got like a leaf over here and a leaf over here. And then I ordered some really pretty brass ones. They're going to be nice. But I like this. I'm not getting as hairy as I would if I was working with fresh tanned fur. My rings are falling off. But I like that. And I like that chain too. That chain's not too bad. See it? It's not too bad. We could gold rub and buff it and make it a little bit prettier. But if you were going to a Renaissance fair and you were like the first time you were ever going, would you want to spend $224 on your outfit or $60 to $80? I don't see how these people make money saying that, oh, I put a $5 clasp on it and makes a $60 hide worth $200. I just have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. I mean, you're going to a Viking Renaissance, like nobody's going to tear you apart. They're going to say good attempt at least. Let's see. See how long this is. See how much I need to add on to it. Oh, no, it's exactly the length. That's nice. That's very nice. Oh. Wow. Okay. Hang on. Let me see what I'm doing here. Now, ideally, I would go to Mom's and sew this on the Juki, but it's snowing and the roads are nasty, so I ain't going anywhere. That would be nice though if I could go straight to Mom's and sew on Juki. Now, I probably will be down there some as soon as it warms up. I'll be going back. What I'm going to do is just do a whip stitch between both of these and sew these together. I'm going to start in the middle so that my fur doesn't move, and I'm going to put an anchor stitch in the middle, and then my fur won't move. Wish I had a clip. And then my fur won't move, and I don't have to worry about it sliding. I'm so creative. I'm so poor. Being poor is the spark of creativity that everyone should experience at least once in their life. Oh, that's the needle I bent. Can't use that one. That's the one I bent. I got to get another needle. Hang on. thimble. Well, that's a big honking needle right there. We'll just use that one. That's a giant one. And since I just need to do an anchor stitch, I'm going to use the last of this thread that's on it. Do a really quick anchor stitch, and then I'll cover it up. It is cold, but it's the warmest day we've had in a week, which blows my mind. Blows my mind. We had an interesting morning, didn't we?
You did.
He said, you did. No, we both did. We were trying to make it to Monday. It's supposed to be like 41. And that means as soon as it's warm and it's dry and you can get on the roof, you clean everything out of the stove again, get ready to hit the next round of coldness that comes through. And when you're burning as much wood as we are, you have to really watch your stove. And we knew we had burned, I mean, I've burned a lot so far this winter. And so as soon as you get a warm day, you check it. I had turned the stove back over to David, and I was going to sleep a little bit this morning because I stay up all night with it. And this is why I stay up with my wood stove. All of a sudden, where we've been burning so much, boy, look at the head on that needle. Do you see that? I could do some damage. Better be careful. As soon as I got still, the pipe kind of, my peach cobbler's yelling again. The pipe kind of, yeah, if you want to, if it's brown, it was starting to brown on top, but it wasn't all the way brown. We'll just have to watch it. I may not be able to use this needle. I may have to get another one. But all of a sudden, the pipe, something must have dropped where we burnt so much wood, which we burned quite a bit, I will say that. And I smelled that smell, and I was like, oh, no. And I jumped up, and where the pipe hooks into the stove, they've got fire bricks, and you have to be very careful about that because stuff will stick up there, will roll and fall up there, and it's just a place you can't see. You have to have the stove empty before you can see it. And something that got up there and kind of caught on fire, and it was just burning at the base, so David got it put out real quick. But if that had been up the pipe or something, oh, Lord. So, yeah, David would have had to go on the house in the middle of a snowstorm. That would have been dangerous. So, but we got it put out, and it's warm enough today. It was actually kind of hot in here where we had the fire going, where it's warmer than it's been in a week. Yeah. We've gotten used to being cold. So we were like sweating, and we were like, man, we just hate to let it go out because you have to start another one. We decided to let it stay out tonight. He's going to clean it and check it in the morning and then get back on. Yeah, you can just turn it off and leave it in there.
I did.
Touch the top and see if it bounces back or if it schloggles. That's a technical term. If you're checking your peach cobbler, push on the top, and if it schloggles,
Jiggly,
leave it in there for a few more minutes. Give it 10 more minutes.
10 more?
Yeah, give it 10 more minutes.
Well, you may
it's cooking in between. I will. It's cooking in between that bread layer and the peach layer.
What'd you have it on?
350. Sorry, we're having an impromptu cooking class.
Well, I thought it was done, so I shut it off.
Oh, yeah, I love my wood stove, too. And Dad was the first one that had this wood stove. It's been with us for a while. But we had to say howdy.
Hey.
We had to jump into action. David got it under control. And a scary morning, I was like, man, I'm glad that didn't go up the pipe somewhere. We've got 3-wall pipe, though. We have all the precautions just for this reason. But
3 walls on top.
But, well, that's what I'm saying. If you've been up the pipe somewhere, we have 3-wall for that. But we have that 3-wall pipe up at the top just for that reason, if something was to burn up top. But we've never, that's the first time this has occurred. But buddy, I had burnt the wood, so it didn't surprise me. We were just trying to make it to Monday to clean it out, and I was like, I knew it was on its last leg. I knew we were getting full, and we've just had so much bad weather. I'm so sick of winter. So sick of winter. Hi, Gypsy. Oh, thank you, Gypsy. I did put the big boy beaver hides on there. I put them as one ad, but there's 2 quantity. And I made them cheaper than they should be, but for anybody wanting them, that's a good deal on the bigger beaver hides. They're close to 3 foot across and tall, so they're in the 32 by 32-ish ballpark. So I just did a 2 quantity of 2 roughly the same size, and I picked 2 roughly the same color, so if somebody needs to buy more than one, they're roughly the same color, and I tried to match them and just do a quantity. That way it saves me an ad. And David doesn't have to pay 20 cents for an extra ad. He's going to go clean out we got those fire bricks in that stove. It's one of the newfangled stoves. Dad bought it It's one of those that burns the fire, the logs, and then burns the gas. Y'all, I'm just trying to get this needle through here, and it's a pain in the butt. And so he's going to clean that out. And when you need help is when you go after your all. So we had an interesting morning. It was quite the interesting morning. I wouldn't want to repeat it. I don't enjoy stuff like that. And it's just that's why I don't sleep a lot when I've got the fire going. I stay very aware, and I just that's why I'm so much of a zombie. I know I don't like this winter. Normally I have done better with the temperatures than I thought I would, but normally I can, come and go a little bit easier if I want to go somewhere. And this, I've just been landlocked. Of course, there's so much sickness right now. Mom didn't say Dad was feeling super bad today, so maybe Dad's feeling better. Or maybe she just got tired of telling me he was sick. I don't know. But she didn't message me and saying, he's still super sick. So I assume he's better this morning. But we're all just kind of hanging out, staying warm. He's cleaning out the top of the stove now. I just said I'm going to sleep tonight. It's supposed to be the warmest night we've had in a week. Just leave the heater on, and I'm going to sleep tonight and sleep good because I know I don't have to listen for a fire. And then tomorrow morning I'll start it back, and then we'll stop it. And I'm going to put a little extra of that creosote killer in the pipe when you burn the fire. I'm just going to be more aware to put more in there when I've got my fires going. So it's just a powder you sprinkle on a burning fire. It's not hard. I think, oh, that's enough. It's not. It's so not. All I'm doing is just anchoring the middle of this right now so it won't move when I stitch the rest. I'm trying to do it on the edge of the fur line, just a little whip stitch. It's nothing massive. The fur is gracious and hides your work, so you don't really have to worry about that. I'm just trying to use this thread. I'm going to lose every nail I've got on, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I put on nails. I think I was bored. Pretty sure it was boredom. You gotta be careful when you're using an awl because it will go through your finger too. But I mean, if I was somebody, I would rather pay $60 to $80 than $224 for a Renaissance fur mantle. It's costume. And if you decide you're going to go to more, or you get like big in the Renaissance world, then you can obviously buy a better one if you're getting some status. But trying to pay $224 for $60 worth of fur and a clasp, I have a problem with people on Etsy for just that reason. We try to keep our prices pretty fair. I think it's because, when you pour yourself, you think about other people, they got to spend their money on that. We want to make it worth their money. We wouldn't want to spend our money on crap. It's just a nice thing to do. Yeah, it stopped here, though. We probably will get some showers through the night or in the morning tomorrow, but I don't think they're going to amount to anything. And it didn't snow as much as they thought it would, but I will tell you what, the first of the snow was that really nasty, scrappy, icy, slicky snow, and it made the roads around here really bad because they don't treat anything around here. And so people were sliding all over town and going to work today, and they were posting on Facebook where it was the worst. And our roads look like back roads because they don't treat anything around here at all. So they just leave us to fend for ourselves. And when you have to go up and down hills and sides of mountains to get home, that gets a little precarious because people up north are like, oh, that's not a lot of snow. Okay, yeah, but you live on flat land and I live on the top of a mountain. So if you have to go and there's a sheer edge over here, a bluff, it's a little bit more precarious than sliding down a flat interstate with 5 flat lanes and ramps everywhere, So I did tell my friend in Ohio to stop doing her snow dance, though, because I'm over it. I said, stop doing your snow dance, because she loves snow. I was like, I'm over it. I've had enough. And I have. I've had so much. Yeah, the ones I put on there are garment quality, so they're like butter. They're awesome. They're amazingly beautiful. You can make blankets, clothes, mitts, and they're just like butter. They just roll up in your hands. I did a short little video trying to show how pliable they were because they're just like draping fabric. It's amazing. And I've almost got this stitched. The locking spot, not the whole thing. Maybe. Trying to go through my loop in my thread. This needle with that crooked head on it. And we're going to be putting bobcats on soon. I say we, David is. We're going to be putting bobcats on soon. And those will, I think we've only got a couple of those left though, so that will probably go pretty quick. Now I need more thread. So, but now he's gotten some nice coaties so far. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Dawn. Fills the massive potholes. Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. Because nobody's about to pave our roads. We had some, and she said, at least the snow fills the massive potholes. I said, yeah, nobody's about to pave our roads. We had some when I would drive to work about 30 minutes from home that would literally, I was afraid I was going to break an axle if I got in them. And I was like, I don't know how our area can not fix these roads. But they don't. And I've known people like to break an axle going in them, and I'm like, no, thank you. I lost a nail, and I put it up here, and now I've lost my nail again. Oh, well, I've got more in the box. I guess I can always put another one on. I got my glasses back, y'all, and oh, my Lord, they're thick. Oh, it dropped on the floor. So it's going to take me a while to get used to my glasses, but oh, my gosh, they're thick. It looks like Pepsi bottles, Coke bottles in my eyes. I should have brought glasses in here when I'm doing this. But I got to pick that. Mom picked them up for me and put them in my mailbox. And Lord, I got them back a couple days ago, but I just finally got around to trying them on and seeing, and oh my gosh. I never have good luck with the eye doctor's glasses. I honestly have had better luck with Temu glasses. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to really try with these and try to give it a shot. And I hope. I'm going to double this up so that it has a little bit more strength to it, so whoever buys it, surely it will outlast whatever they want to do to it. Oh, I pulled my thread. And this is where the glasses would come in handy. Oh, I got it on the first try. Feeling good. So we've had an interesting day. It's been an interesting day. How much stuff was up there, Dave? He said very little was up there. That's how sensitive these little freaking stoves are. Yeah, he said it'd probably burn it all out. You just get just a little piece of ash or something in the wrong place a couple of times, and so you have to be super careful. And I've got a very sensitive nose, which thank God I do, because I immediately was like, oh. It's like a bloodhound on a trail. I was like, oh. If it would just stay there and stay in the potholes. We used to go to work, and literally they would ask while we were late, and we would look at the supervisor and be like, because I'm a pothole. You know that commercial that sounded like Britney Spears? Because I'm a pothole. And the manager would just look at us and be like, oh, okay, I get it. I've changed my mind about something. Do y'all start something and then change your mind? Because I just did. But we literally had potholes that people had broken axles in around here. And so I would always like map them out in my brain when I drove to work. Because I drove like an hour and a half to work. That's if I was going to the closest office. If I had to go like to Knoxville or something, I was driving quite a bit. Sometimes I had to go to Clinton. And I drove quite a bit and go to Morgan County Correctional. I was IPO of a couple of county jails. I taught classes in Morgan County. I supervised in Campbell County, Scott County. I had a few in Anderson County. Had some in Morgan County. And had some in Fentress County. I was everywhere. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. If you hear beating and banging, that's David cleaning out the stove. It's just a weird experience all around this morning. Never would have thought one would have caught there, that specific spot. So we're going to definitely watch it for, forever now. Because that's not anything you want to repeat. Okay, changed my mind. I'm changing it. So we had a interesting morning. Let's see. Doggone it. Okay, that there. I'm changing my mind, and I probably shouldn't have, but I'm changing my mind. Okay, when that goes out, it goes out. Yes. Okay. Now let's make sure it's the right length. So I've been thinking of other ways to make these things, or other ways to make like outfits for people that do these Renaissance fairs. And so if y'all come up with like a super amazing idea about any of these things that I could make, send it to me, put it in a community post, email it to me, get it to me. Is it Sal? I'm so blind. I needed my glasses. Oh, thank you, Dawn. When I had the live with Sabrina, she has been pumping out the content, hasn't she, on her Odyssey platform? Oh my gosh, she has just been. That's some important stuff out there, y'all. Important stuff. We've had, and I hear something I find really funny, and this is just me talking. This is just what I've experienced in my area. We've seen the FOG. And I have to say that shortly after we saw that is when Oscar got sick. About the same time, I know of 4 people that lost animals almost at the same time that were healthy animals that just crapped out. So have spoken with the vet's office about this. They've witnessed an uptick in animals being ill as well, livestock and everything. Sabrina is awesome. Sabrina is somebody that everybody should know. She's so flippin' smart. She's so busy right now too, but she is so smart. She's right on it. She can teach you things that you can't quite understand, but she can teach them to you and relay it in a way that you can start to put the puzzle together. And that's what life is about, putting puzzles together. And sadly, we have to put this one together at our day and age. And it is what it is. You got to be smart. And sometimes being smart means you have to know the things you don't want to know. But you got to. There's my cobbler again. And so you got to know these things. I'm wondering, Sal, if that's what it was, because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this, and we were all in this area. We were all like, why is everybody's pets kicking it? And me and another girl that lost a dog kind of had the same experience. Healthy dog, no problems, to boom, gone. And I started thinking, I thought, yeah, that was right after we saw the FOG here, Let me go check my cobbler, y'all. It's only just like 10 feet away, but bear with me. Y'all can stare at Anshul. He's staring at you. The bobcat stares at everybody. Oh, yeah, that looks good. We'll leave it there. My house smells good. My house smells like a peach cobbler. That's nice. Okay, I turned it off. I'm going to let it sit in the oven, though. I like to leave the syrup in my peaches when I cook them from a can. And I like it to be a little gummy. Is that just me? Is that everybody? Oh, Mary, awesome idea. Yeah, you could do a partial or complete overlay. That's a thought, Mary. That's awesome. I would not have thought about that. Y'all are so helpful. Can you smell my cobbler? It does smell good, I have to say. I probably shouldn't have come on here and told you I had a peach cobbler. There's a neighbor of mine that don't live too far away. If he heard cobbler, he'd be like, did you make me one? Because there for like 3 years, if I made David one, I made him one. He's an old man. And y'all toss up some prayers. His name's Bill. I call him William. His wife is actually in the ICU. She's had 2 surgeries. She had a stroke and she's had 2 surgeries. And she's in the ICU right now. And bless his heart, I've been praying for him and his wife. Sweet little old couple. He's the guy that stained our house last summer. But if he heard me say cobbler, he'd be like, where's mine? Because I've made him cobblers for the last several years. Every time I make David one, I just make him one. Make him one in a to-go pan. I can talk. And he would just pick it up. If I made candy cucumbers, make extra jars for him. He was really good at helping me find the red hots and stuff to make my candied cucumbers. Very sweet little man. Sweet as day is long. I hate that he's going through what he's going through. I hope she had gotten better and then something happened. She needed another surgery. And she's back in the ICU, and I just worry about him. Okay, I've been sewing like a mad cow here and got about 3 inches done. So this is not a quick process, but it's not hard. Like, it's not $200 hard. I just don't know why anybody would charge somebody that much money for something. And she literally, the hide was just left in a tube skin, and it was just wrapped. She didn't even have to finish nothing out. She just left it dangle, and she just put a clasp on it. And I thought, honey, that's so rude. I mean, on a great day, that fox would have been $80 because it wasn't super big. I would not dare say, here's an $80 hide, pay me $224 for it because I put a $5 clasp on it. Now, if it took me months and I made like a coat with lining and lapels, and yeah, the clasp, I would not be able to sleep at night knowing somebody out there had that and was like, that's all you did? That would make me very mad. If I was the buyer, that would make me very mad. It makes me mad and I'm not the buyer. But I do search Etsy to see what other people are charging, and because I want to be in the ballpark. But when I saw that, I was like, no, they're going to get mad when I post one that's not near. I'm going to get people. Last time when a guy found out we was selling fur, he tried to go under like 11 different accounts and leave us bad reviews. And when I found out, I did my little snooping because, I do research like the FBI. I found out who he was, and I found out what he'd been doing to the fur sellers on eBay, on Etsy, and I reported him. He had like 3 physical locations in the Pacific Northwest, and he was trying to stop everybody from selling on Etsy so people would still come to his stores and his physical addresses. I just called him out, and Etsy did an investigation with the stuff I sent him, and he got in trouble. So I don't even know if he still has his Etsy stores. But he knows to leave me the heck alone. I'm hateful. But, I mean, I try to be fair. I'm not going on there trying to stop other people from being creative. Don't try to stop me. If you want to have beef, have beef. Come at me, bro. Don't slide around and do stuff on the sly. That's just rude. It's just rude. How rude. Trade for cobbler. We do a lot of barter in the summer for, like when I make my candy cucumber stuff, we do a lot of barter with people. It's still a normal way of transactions around here, oddly enough. I'm saving all the weather updates, and eventually I'll put them all together in a video and put them up. We didn't get any massive weather. There was a chance it could go like this with not a lot, or it could have gone really bad and we got a whole bunch. And I'm glad it went like this. Anytime it hangs around 28 to 30 degrees and it snows here, it comes normally a Paramount Noah, and when it melts, we're all going to be in a mud hole. And I'm so glad that this one was not that bad. I hate snow. I hate winter. My bones don't like it. My left knee and left hip have just been swollen and kind of locked. My left knee's kind of locked. I had to go do blood work, and the doctor said, what's the matter? And I said, my left knee is just kind of locked with the weather. And she wasn't concerned at all. She's like, oh, well, you're getting used to all this. Thank you. Do I get a trophy? No compassion whatsoever. And I was like, gee, thank you. But I had to do my blood work. I got out easy this time. They only took like 5.5 vials. So I didn't get drained and told to eat a cracker before I left. Oh, co-op's just right there. The funny thing is our co-op actually does a lot of the co-ops. It's like the place where people come together to do to create community things. And it's, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm rural and we still have a lot of farms, but that's like the place where people gather. And they did open up the community center for people that needed shelter, because we have a lot of people that have moved in here that aren't prepared for our winters, because it can be super nice or it can be super nasty. It does kind of mirror the Scottish Highlands, and it can be very angry. It can be very nice. And I've noticed the similarities since I've been studying and looking at weather abroad and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's why I guess the Scots came over and really liked it here, even though most of them were slaves or indentured. I think it reminded them of home, because you get up on these crags and it is kind of like the moors. And I was like, that's a thought there. That's probably why they liked it here so much and they stayed. But the weather changes so quick here, and it's so dangerous. So dangerous. There's a lot of people that still trade hay and cattle and beef, and we have a lot of people that just don't use money around here, because we also have a pretty heavy population of Amish. So we do a lot of bartering. I have friends in the Highlands too, and they're like, we look at your pictures and your videos, and it's very similar to home. And I'm like, I know. I know. Doesn't mean I enjoy it though. I'm too old for this crap. Now, is this going to be pretty underneath? No, but it's fur. I mean, my sewing's okay, but it's just whip stitched together. But I'd rather pay for a cheaper fur. Nobody's going to see the underside anyway unless you take it off. Don't take it off. It's a costume. Oh my goodness. Poor Kim, her tire about sheared off today. I was worried about her. Okay, so that's what it's looking as it goes together. I've got about 10 inches done. Started from the middle so that my fur wouldn't slip on me. And then I'll cut these into dangles and put dangles on it. Even if I just make one out of this was very cheap, very inexpensive compared to some ways to do things. Oh, I'm losing. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. I ordered me some comfrey seeds and some bone set teas, and I've got it in, and that's going to be something me and Mom start next year in our herb gardens. You can't find, like, it'll grow if you plant it, but you can't find a lot of this stuff here anymore unless you get into like an old homestead and somebody else had already planted it. So I just got me and Mom some seeds, and we're going to split them and start them. I may start them early inside since I've got these grow lights in here. That sounded really bad. I have grow lights, but it's for my indoor plants, my house plants. They were looking kind of peaked. I got 2 different types of grow lights for them because I left them outside too long this year and got them in and didn't get a light on them immediately, and I felt bad. So I bought a stand to put them on and a bunch of lights. And it works. I mean, I'll show you. It's pretty good. It works. I've got a purple one on top there. Let me see if I can turn it on. I've got a purple one on top. Besides extra when they need it. I mean, I need another shelf. I've got another shelf coming. I got one. Oh, Timu has had to pay me so much money. But I got another shelf with some of that money. And I'm going to add them on. I know he's judging everyone. He's looking so condescendingly at everyone like, should you be down there? That's Anshul. I refuse. He's got a cut on his leg that the fur needs to be repaired, but I know if I fix it, David is sell them, so I've not fixed it because I will keep them. And there's been people offered to buy him, and I'm like, that's my Anshul. I can't part with Anshul. There's so much sickness going around, y'all. It's amazing how sick everybody is, and once again, that coincides with what I've been saying it happened to the dogs too. I am just like, and I'm one to, I will trust you. If you give me a reason to trust you, I will trust you, but I'm going to wait it out and see if I really want to trust you or not. And I can honestly say I'm in a place where, and I've said this for years, I'm in an abusive relationship with my government. I feel that way. I felt that way for years, but I feel that way even more so now, especially when they're so quiet about things they should be openly discussing with their citizens. Oh, thank you, Mary. I thought my plant stand was kind of a cute addition to the house. I didn't realize how many plants I had until I got them all together. And I've even got a snake plant in the floor, but his leaves are high enough. He gets some of the. I've got one ordered for him, but he gets some of the sun, some of the light. David's still on the stove. I think he just got done. Was it bad? He said, yeah, kinda. I burnt a lot of wood, y'all. A lot. Yeah, and it's really dry seasoned wood, so we're like, why did it have that much in it? But I have really rolled the lumber. It's to the point where it's been super hot in this house, and David would be like, it's so hot I can't go to sleep, and I'm like, sorry. But I'm so glad that I was in there and smelled that immediately this morning. It helped us get a handle on it really quick because we didn't want it to burn up the pipe. That would have been a pain in the, that would have been when we couldn't have stopped. But I'll be using more creosote cleaner than normal. We'll just say that. And we've got the cleaning kits and stuff, the sweeps and stuff, so we'll be okay. I swear, I think those old stoves burnt so much better than the new stoves. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I think when they started to try to make them to burn the gases, I don't know. They're not as easy to do as they used to be. Of course, this is a really nice little stove, but every once in a while it can be a pain in the butt. Of course, we've had an old Tommy stove too, and had that same problem. It's just when you burn a lot of wood, you have to. We try to look for the good days and be like, okay, that's the day you can get on the house clean. But it's been so cold here and so nasty. There's not been a good day. There's not. It's not been a good day at all. I am working, I swear. You can tell I'm doing something. I was going to just record it, but I thought I'm just going to go live. They haven't seen me in forever, just a few minutes last night. Now I've got to read because we're talking about red. Okay. Chicken noodle soup. Oh, yeah, with turmeric. Yeah. I've got turmeric tincture and turmeric. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got Breathe Easy tea. I've got mullein tea. I've got lemon and ginger tea. Then I've got my turmeric and my oregano tinctures. And let's see, I gave David's on vitamin C and elderberry and zinc. And I try to keep us going. I've also got a hydration mix that's got extra minerals in it. And I'm going to talk to my endocrinologist, but I'm thinking about taking the beef organ. I know this sounds really bad, but beef organ capsules. Because I have noticed that it's hard for me to get a lot of what I need, and bone broth is great. And we do a lot of bone-in roast and stews and stuff. But I'm thinking about just taking those beef organ supplements just to get some extra minerals and stuff in me. It's really good for women, they say, and I'm thinking I'm at the age where it might be conducive to do that. We don't eat a lot of liver and stuff and we used to eat a lot of heart, but we don't eat that anymore. We used to eat a lot of that out of our kills. And the butchers now, the meat processors don't really ask you if you want it, so you only get it if you clean something yourself. And I like to inspect them before I eat them anyway. But I thought that might be an easier way to go about it. And, there's some places do it and it's super expensive, but they have beef organ supplements you can buy for like $10 a bottle. Hey, ask anybody about the flogging roosters. When the kids was little, we had a little rooster that kept flogging, and it was at my ex-mother-in-law's. And we finally went down there. It had flogged Lane I don't know how many times, and he was just a toddler. It would like go and attack him. And we got out one time, and as soon as we got out of the car, it ran up and got him, and it got real close to his eye. And I said, "That's it. It's dying today." And I said, "Give me a gun." Well, all they had was a .38 pistol, and I thought, how useless is this? But I chased it down to the edge of the woods. And my ex-husband's father was from England. He's passed away now. And he goes, "You bloody hell can't hit that." And I said, "I can too." And not only did I want to hit it, but I wanted to cook it. So I had to be careful. I was just trying to pop its head. I shot it clean through the neck, and I went and put it on a stick so I could hang it between a forked limb and skin it. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going to eat the darn thing. I ain't going to waste it." It was tough, but I ate every bite, and I smiled because I knew that rooster wasn't going to flog my boy anymore. And Lane thought I was Rambo. He told people when he's little, "My mom's Rambo." But what you did when you lived out in the sticks and you had a flogging rooster. I hate flogging roosters. We ate so many, like we get a rooster and if it flogged, we just eat it. To the point where when Haley was like 4 or 5, we were fishing at the pond at Mom and Dad's or Grandma and Grandpa's place that Mom and Dad had for a long time before they moved down into the hill. Dad came out of the house and a rooster literally climbed up his back, and you could hear Dad going, "Oh, oh, 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 oh," and screaming at it. He went in and got the shotgun, and we heard a boom. He looked at us to make sure we were the other way, but I kind of waved at him. He shot it. To the point where my daughter then put down her fishing pole, ran halfway up the field, and said, "Are we going to eat it?" And I thought, yeah, we're country. Dad you could hear him laughing from the porch. He just barely off the back porch. My grandma had a huge chicken coop and chicken house. They had like a glass screen door. They were very well maintained. And Mom had just kind of continued that when she moved there. That was the meanest little rooster. And then Mom decided she wanted 3 turkeys, which I lovingly named Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. And they were fine until they got the spurs in, and then they thought they were big boys, and they would want to pop you. They ended up in the freezer for holidays. You're welcome. Mom said, what were you doing in the apple orchard? I said, killing one of the three, and I'm going after the other two. I got flogged, I don't know how many times, just between my car and the back door for no reason. I don't know if it was Larry, Daryl, or Daryl, but they all died. I like the chicken noodles where you put the egg in there and whisk it around. It's kind of like a mixture between chicken noodle and egg drop. Oh my gosh, it's lovely. It's lovely. We don't waste anything, but I wasn't about to have them little suckers running around. My kids were too small. I was mowing the apple orchard one day and a black snake dropped from the tree above me in my lap. I was not paying attention. That was before I had my knee surgery. I come off that mower and was walking like one of them Jesus lizards across the water. I hate snakes. I don't care if it is a black snake. It does not need to be around me. I don't like them. And we had a huge one that lived in the well house by the pond. It was like 7 or 8 foot long. And if you fished on the little dock Dad made, it would come out and, wave its mouth around and try to scare you. And it was just a black snake. My brother stomped its head one day and it was still trying to bite him. And so I grabbed its tail and he said, "Buck up." And I was like, "Oh God, what are you going to do now?" He grabbed that thing's tail and started spinning it. He said, "I learned this the other day," and cracked it like a whip, and it broke. You hear it pop. It broke that snake's neck back. You could hear it crack, and it never moved. After that, never moved. And he threw it down. He goes, "I won." And he went back to fishing, and I was like, "Yes, you did." But that snake had been there forever. It had just gotten so big, it had gotten really hateful. And it decided it wouldn't want to let us fish that day. And Matthew was like, "No, I'm fishing." And my brother was, he was not scared of anything. And if he wanted to be there, he was going to put you out. He's going to be there. So the snake learned the hard way. Yeah, roosters are horrible. Roosters are evil. And people that have never had a flogging rooster, I'm like, good for you. Yeah, I didn't know you could break their necks like that, but then I started reading up on it. You sure can. You spin them just from the tail like a rope, and then you pop them, and you got to pop them real hard. And you'll hear it pop. You'll hear it snap and break, and they won't move. Like normally after you kill a snake, they'll move for a while. They won't move at all. And I kept fishing, kind of looking back because I was waiting for it to come bite me. It would just attack you. And it never moved, and I was amazed. Matthew was smoking a cigar when he done that, and I thought, such a picture. Such a picture in my head. I will never forget that because I figured he was going to throw it at me because normally when he picked up a snake, it came my way. One of those brothers, yeah. But he didn't throw it at me, he just snapped his neck. He was very proud of himself too, and I was like, okay, glad you learned a trick. You never tried to rope cattle, but I'm glad you can do that. Okay, that's the second span. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. Need to put my nail back on. So now we've got that much sewed together. As you lines up. So it'd go on like that and go down that far. And I can sew the rest and put tendrils draping. I think when I kind of make the end not so awesome, not so even, I think it'd be fine. I kind of like that too. I'm not gonna lie, I like that chain. Although I may gold rub and buff it. Yeah, we can hang some stuff off that and make that pretty. Yeah, I can do this. I can do it. I probably will split this and make them different lengths and sew them, blind stitch them so they're not seen. And then make it tear look like different lengths. A lot of hem work, but yeah, Thank you, Dawn. I just hate to think that somebody out there would have to pay that to wear a mantle. It's just stupid when you can do so much with salvage stuff. There's no reason to make somebody pay $200 for a costume. I mean, if you were going to be in some kind of recreation or something, yeah. But I mean, just to go to a Renaissance fair and give the Lord people. I mean, Vikings were scavengers. Let's be scavengers. I just find it really hard to think somebody paid $224 for a fox with a clasp. She had done no needlework except for to sew that clasp on. She just left it tube skinned. And I thought, that's cheap. I thought that was mean. And maybe it's because I sew and I know these things, but I'm like, no, that was like 20 minutes of work. Now, if I spend a lot of time on something, yeah, I want some money for my work. I don't want that much. I would, if I wouldn't want to pay it, I'm like, I wouldn't expect anybody else to pay it. I kind of look at things like that. My fingers, look at my fingers, they're ate up. Do you see all that skin coming off my fingers? That is from thread work, needlework, fire, wood. And I use tallow cream on my hands, and I'm still doing that. So you can imagine. This leather string doesn't want to, there we go. I'm using like a faux sinew, and it is strong. It could probably let me swing from it. It's strong. I don't know. I never studied the genetics of that. That would be interesting. I may have to look at that now. If I don't sleep one night, I may look into that. Now that I've got glasses, I might be able to do more reading than I have been doing because when my eyes get bad, I just give up. They hurt. When my thyroid has problems, my eyes get really bad. And I don't enjoy that. What are you listening to? Is that the scanner? Sound like a scanner. Now he's listening to chainsaws. Because that's what he does.
I'm watching something.
I'll look into that. Thank you for putting the name up there. I'll look into that. Hey, you know, not to lie, but they've got some that are rated for like 30, 40 below, and I bought them for David to work in, and he likes them. But they're those waterproof, windproof. They cost, if they're not on sale, they're sometimes $12, $13 to $15. But if they're on sale, I can get them for like $3 to $7, depending on what seller has them. And when I find them on sale, I get them because he requires 2X or up. And they've done pretty good, ain't they? Those gloves. He's in his own world.
Huh?
Your gloves, they've done pretty good, ain't they?
Not bad.
He said they're not bad. And he has a really hard time with gloves because he's got such big hands.
Yeah.
So he's over there in his own world watching YouTube or something.
No.
He's scanning Facebook reels. That's what he's doing. Pretty contracture. I'm gonna have to look into that now. That's interesting. So if we have an educational video on that, you know what happened. Oh yeah, I've got that tallow. It's scented vanilla, so it's not super bad, but I grease up with it and I put it on my face. I've been putting, and when I have really bad days, which really dry in here, I've been putting pure Vaseline on my face. My face is doing better than it normally does. Of course, I look orange from the sweater, but and I guess my hands probably are doing better than they normally do, but they still, when this is like wire. The string is like wire, so when you handle it, your hands get ate up. But that's okay. It happens. Sometimes when I have vet wrap, I have Coflex here, I wrap my fingers before I sew, but I don't do it often. I'm one of those that goes, oh, look, I cut my finger, and knowing it's going to happen, and I still act surprised because I'm too lazy to wrap my fingers. Sometimes I will. If I'm going to sit down and sew for 3 or 4 hours, sometimes I will. This was more of a whim, so I just knew I needed to get it started, or I was going to keep looking at it and not do it. Because it's a little, the edge is going to be the hardest part, making it look rugged. That's going to be the hardest part. Oh, I love castor oil. I will put pure castor oil on my face too, or put it on a hot washcloth and put it on my face. In the South, you put castor oil on everything. And if I can get hold of the black castor oil, oh, that's some good stuff right there. But yeah, pure, just castor oil from Walmart is lovely. A lot of people don't know these things. I used a lot of that when they found that mass on my thyroid. I used a lot of that at night to put on my neck when I slept. And I swear it changed shape. The doctors were kind of amazed. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, castor oil. Around here, if you can't fix it, you put castor oil on it and you just pray. And it worked. The doctors were really impressed. I do a lot of castor oil on everything. Lots of castor oil. Lots of tallow cream. Lots of, I've got some dandelion cream coming in. And it's just an extra way to get vitamin C and stuff in you. That's all it is, but it's pretty good. It's good for inflammation. My string's getting caught up in the fur. If I could get half of this done, I would be so overjoyed. You can get it on eBay or on Joann's, which I wouldn't get it on Joann's. It's expensive. You can get it on eBay, and it's called leather sewing thread. But you can get it on eBay. You can get some of it on Etsy, and you just got to know what you're looking for. They call it faux sinew or leather thread, and it's like wire. You see that going up and down? It's like bead wire, but it's thread, but it's wrapped so much it's like bead wire. But now, if you get your finger stuck in it, it will cut your finger. So there's your warning. It will cut your finger. I think the tallow cream that I had has some castor oil in it, but it's got a little bit of everything. But it's tallow cream. Oh, it's lovely. It's nice. And I will say that Temu has some really good creams and serums. They really do. And honestly, they have more of a restriction and regulation on them there than they do here. So they're actually a little bit more real and organic. So I've been tickled with some of the creams and stuff I've gotten from Temu. Some of the soaps are really nice too. And you just get them without the additives that you get here in the States. And they're starting to ban a lot of stuff now because people have figured out, hey, that's not available in Europe. That's not available in why? Or is it available here? And they're starting to come out and say, oh, yeah, we've not tested that in a decade. We're sorry. Oopsie. And I'm like, oopsie? Really? So I think the United States is fixing to understand that you can't just sell anything to us anymore. You're going to have to make it good. You're welcome, Mary. I can't help to think there's somebody out there, a younger person out there that is going to go and they're going to look on Etsy for a fur mantle for their Renaissance costume, and they're going to be so disappointed when they see the prices. And then they're going to say, oh, look, there's a cheaper one. And they're going to look at it and go, it looks just as good. What's the difference? I didn't think the sun came out of my butt every morning. That's the difference. I used to tell those juvenile teenagers that used to be, they should have been in prison. They were out in the woods with us, the wilderness camp. I used to tell them when they'd have problems, I'd like, did you get up this morning and the sun came out your honey? They'd be like, no. I was like, okay. And then the world does not rotate around you. And then, unless you need some preparation H, you need to join your friends and go on to education class. And they'd be like, they didn't want to talk about preparation H, so they went. And then the counselors come back and go, how did you get him to move? And I'm like, you make them uncomfortable. It's the same thing I do to a colt or a bull calf. You make them uncomfortable. It's sad, but that's what you do. Somebody asked me when my kids were so well behaved when they were teenagers, and I said, fear is an excellent motivator. They just looked at me, and I was like, telling you the truth. I've got quite a bit done now. Let me finish up this piece of thread, and I'll show you. Trying to make sure I get the fur and not just the satin. So it takes me a while to punch through. But I've got this much more thread. And I've got that much sewed. So you can't really see where I'm sewing it. I've got it whip stitched in there, and it's not like a huge deal. And if you wanted to whip stitch a new lining, you could. If you want to take the lining apart and sew it back together, blind stitch it back together, you could. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that because the more time I put into it, the more money it's going to cost somebody. And I think there's somebody out there that just needs a cheap one. Pretty, but inexpensive. Because I can't see spending $224 for a costume. Just because it costs more, that means better. All right, nice to meet you, Dawn. Come back and join us anytime. But when I get it done, I'll post it, and y'all tell me if it looks decent or not. Because obviously I'm biased because I create it. And then I get kind of blind to it, too, because I've looked at it for so long. So I'll post it, and y'all can tell me what you think. It's nice to see new people pop in and say, hey, we're part of the family now. That's nice. Because we've got a really small but sweet group of people here. And sometimes I get nervous when we get newbies in, but we've run across some really sweet people here lately. I've not really had any trolls in a while. I don't think trolls like me. I wonder why. Because I make them uncomfortable. Oh, Oh, it's almost too warm for this sweater in here. Pull my peach cobbler out and see what it did. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's getting rough down at the end of poke through. So let's see. Mary said men's vest and do a fur topper in certain places or cover it. What else would be Viking like? I'm looking at some of those little bags they put on belts and stuff. I don't know if cost effective. I don't know if it'd be cost effective to try to make them. I don't know. I'm gonna have to study a little bit more on that and see how long they take to put together. I mean, probably some earrings would work if I had some thinner fur that was pretty. Maybe some raccoon tails were not long enough to make keychains or something out of. You could make earrings out of. That might work. A lot of people make the gauntlets, the things that go up your arms, so I'm not even worried about that. Although me and Mom are going to try to sew mittens as soon as I get back down there. We're going to try to sew mittens. If I can get the thumb not turned the wrong way, the pattern is not that bad, but that one piece is so confusing. But I'm trying to think of something else that would be kind of. I guess you could probably get some tartan and just make a circle skirt like a kilt, and add fur drapes to it. Make it look like it's got a fur belt and a. But then you got to make it to where it fits multiple people, like with elastic and something. I just don't think that would work. I don't think that would work. But I mean, if somebody commissioned it, it would probably be okay. Headband. You can get them wide headbands, and you could almost just glue, like fabric, leather, concrete glue, fur on them, and then do a little tiny stitch on the edge. And you could probably sell those for like $20 because that would be a lot of time to blind stitch it, but it would be. That would work. That would, yeah. That would be something. I need to pull out that Sioux ceremonial hide that I got and show it to y'all. It's just so big. And I don't really have anywhere to show it off in this house. This house is so small and that thing's ginormous. It's like a Manitoba, Saskatchewan whitetail. It's like a Hereford bull calf. It's big, but it's beautiful and it's old. And I've been kind of at a deadlock researching it. And I think I know what it is, but I'm kind of waiting for confirmation. I keep waiting for something to pop up where I've researched this much. But it looks like one of the last ones on a reservation, like where the government would let them still practice their stuff, but then they would take it and sell it. Looks like one of the last government stamped ones. And obviously it's had a few owners because they've kind of piecemealed it and tried to add stuff through the years. Not a lot. The sinew is real sinew. It's real tissue, and it's old. I'd have to use leather concrete to make it, but I've not touched it. I'm scared to touch it. It's so old and perfect. I hate to try to mend it and make it not perfect. I think it's gorgeous the way it is, but it's huge. And the painting on the inside, me and he's a part Navajo, part Sioux, Curtis, he's like, I don't know what that means. He's like, it's so rare to see those. I don't know what it means. He's like, I know why they made them. I made them to, celebrate a time or a happening. But he was like, it would only been displayed in the communal hall or the chief's tent. And he's like, I don't know what that pattern means. So I find that very intriguing. Okay, we've got one side completely done. One side's completely done. I left a little right here so I can split this and then do the edges and make it look like it's draped and hanging. Just gonna have to spend a lot of time hand sewing. I'm going to rip another nail off. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, now obviously people are going to be smaller than me. Okay, I got big old broad shoulders too. That don't help. This would probably go like down to there on someone else, but I'm a big old heifer, so it goes up here. But I think we're on to something here with these old. And see, add the swags across the back and make it drip fur. I think I'm on to something. And see if I use these 3 or 4 sables or 2 sables and 3 or 4 collars. Like you can get these so cheap. and turn them into something that can be reused, and so they don't end up in the landfill. And the fur is still in excellent condition. They're just, they were very expensive when they were first made. Yeah, I like that. And then we can do fur drips with this one and this one. I like that. It's like do drips hanging off. Do them all different sizes hanging off. And just make it to where the edge is raggedy and you got interesting things hanging off. Maybe add some jewels or some brass. Ouch. Some brass shapes or something. I've got some hoops and circles and stuff that would add interest. Probably gold rub in both this chain and leave this chain on there. I really like this chain. It's pretty and it's kind of rustic. And if I gold rub in both it would kind of look like brass. I kind of like this, y'all. Well, I only got a little over half of it done, but I'm a pretty good hand stitcher. I'm going to split these so they kind of float. So I'll cut this in a couple three and then I'll blind stitch or whip stitch the edges. And that way they can kind of float and look scraggly. And then I'll add some dripping off the back. We'll just see how much I want to add. But yeah, I'm not going to make it where it's fully round on the back. It's going to be jagged. I think I figured out something. I'm going to be watching for these now. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I can make something out of that. If this one sells decent, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's salvage all these things and not let them end up in the landfill. Because they're just too pretty to go in the landfill. And this is mixed rabbit. It's so soft. It's so nice. And this is probably mink. Probably. But it's very rich, thick mink. So, and I could even, like I said, take a live edge off of one of David's furs and add an interesting live edge to it if I wanted to. But I think the person that wants this would want something easy, compact, that can be stored away. And you don't have to really take care of it like you were a hide. I like it though. Imagine with a thing through your hair and a big headband like through here on, and be cute. And once I get the raggedy edge, I think it'd be cute. You can get these almost anywhere. You can find them on eBay. You can find them in Goodwills, thrift shops, anywhere. Thrift or vintage stores, and they're pretty doggone cheap anywhere. I like the way this one's limper, but this one's really good quality. And they've all got the sateen backing, so I don't have to reback this because whoever's wanting to save a few bucks is not going to mind this. So I just think it's really cute. Yeah, you can find them anywhere. I mean, and I've never seen one for over $8, and that's the really, really nice ones. And some of them still have the faces and the feet on them. That would be really neat if I could find some of those. I've had some before, but if I could find some again, that would be really neat. And so there, you can find them. I mean, just keep your eyes open. Every little old woman, somebody has tossed out her closet when she's passed away, and all her furs are in a Goodwill or in the thrift shop or in an antique mall or in a yard sale. If you had a full fur coat, you could make a few. Makes me think. I'm getting ideas now. I'm getting a lot of ideas. But I don't know. It's something when I saw that fur mantle that woman wanted $200 something for adding a clasp. I thought, no, we're gonna hatch one up for the value shopper. We're gonna make one for the value shopper. And it would probably sell with them still full, but I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more interesting. Even if I were to cut the sateen off and just shred the fur to make it dangle, that would be plenty. Like, see, it's got a fur back on it. So if you were to shred this and just shred the fur, it would still look just as pretty. I pulled it off to see what it was like on the back the other day. Just let it dangle. It would still kind of twist on its own, and it would look like a raw, natural edge. You just got to take the satin off the back right here, and you just cut it across to where you want the dangles to be, and then roll it back up and blind stitch it, and then just leave the dangles dangling. That may be what I do. But, I mean, somebody would get a kick out of this. So, we're going to keep going on it. It's going to take me probably a few days of sewing and hacking and figuring out what I want. But I think it's going to be cute. And all the mantles, they have their stamps on them so they can see where all these came from and research them and know that they've actually got a piece of history in their hand, which I think is really neat. That's just me. I like old stuff. I don't know why people are so allergic to old things. I think old things are great. Thank you, Gypsy. This last week has been rough between our stomachs not doing well and then Dad getting sick, the weather. I'm still not quite kosher after losing Oscar. Some evenings it's just so freaking lonely in this house. It's like, where's my shadow? And literally since we married him, the weather's been crap. It's like the weather's mourning for Oscar. It's been it's been a bummer of a few weeks here. It's been 2 weeks and a day. And I've got his little temporary tombstone over here. It lights up, but I've not put it out because the weather's been so bad. I didn't want it to get waylaid the first day it was out, so I've kept it inside. And I'm going to put it on his little grave. And David said he'd encircle the grave, him and Moses, and I'm going to make a little climbing, either yellow rose of Texas or a climbing rose to put in between them, like Big Dan and Little Ann on Where the Red Friend Grows. Because I'm one of those people. But I miss him so much. But a lot of people, there's like 4 dogs that died that week that I know of. And that's weird for here. And everybody was like, he was perfectly fine. What happened? And I'm like, yeah. And the vet has even, there's been an uptick. They've been very sweet. I'm waiting for my card to come in the mail. Because every time we have a dog pass, they always send us a card. They have every time. Moses, Benny. I'm expecting one for Oscar too. It normally takes a couple, 3 weeks. They send you a Rainbow Bridge card. And I always thought that was sweet of my vet. My vet's sweet. She's not like the best knowledgeable one, but I kind of patch in what she doesn't know. And she's sweet. She's good. And then, of course, between me and Haley, there's not really a lot we have to go to the vet for except for just regular stuff. But I don't know. It's just been such a weird. See? Oh my goodness. There's just been something up, hasn't there, Gypsy? It's just been weird. It's been a vibe around this area. Gypsy's just about 45 minutes to an hour away from me. Well, as the crow flies, she's not really that far. You just have to tangle the mountains to get to her. And like I was thinking, oh, it's going to be like any other winter. I can still roam in January until the bad stuff gets here in February and March, because that's when our nasty weather normally happens. Now I'm like, if this is January, what does February and March have for us? Loads of people sick, and just weird sicknesses coming and going. And animals have been really sick. It's just weird. And I'm sorry, but if there's something flying in my backyard and I can't identify it, daggum, you ain't going to charge me with shooting a drone. Maybe I thought it was something coming to kill me. I think it's got something to do with airspace of your home, that they're going to start trying to make us pay for that now, or trying to say they can monitor us because we don't own the airspace over a home. Okay, save up your money, buy the airspace over your home. I think something like that's going to happen too, because they're wanting money any way they can get it. I don't know how people get up and constantly think about money, but I guess some people do. I mean, I'd like to have more of it, but then again, it's a pain in the butt when you get it. Don't know if I really want that much of it. I had a friend that was very wealthy, and she went crazy at the time of the she went a little crazy, and I wouldn't let her call me names because I was staying home, and when I went to Walmart, I wouldn't wear a mask. But I have a bad left lung, and if I wear a mask, it drags that left lung, and I pay for it. And I'm in a rural area. We didn't have a lot of sickness, and I would go at not prime times. I mean, I did everything I could, and she called me a murderer. And I was like, excuse me, you may not speak to me that way. As kind and nice as you are, I still have boundaries. And she was just haughty and arrogant and thought she could call me what she wanted. And I said, no. And when I said, you're going to have to leave me alone. I need to think about this for a while. Then she started spitting well, why would you not want me as a friend? I've helped you out so much. I said, yes, you have. And I said, I appreciate it. She bought it was well over $1,000, the shots I needed for my pancreas, because I was going to go spend a week in the Nashville hospital on a pancreas dialysis machine, which I did not know existed until I got really sick. And because I couldn't afford the injections because the insurance wouldn't pay for them. And she called, and without me knowing, called the pharmacy and paid for them. Well, that's great. Of course, when you're worth 2-digit millions, it doesn't hurt you that bad. And I was touched. I thought, how sweet. And I told her, I said, I can't accept that. And she goes, no, you're going to get better. Go get your shots. And I had to go every morning and get an injection for every other morning for 4 days. I can't remember. I had 3 or 4 I had to take. It wasn't horrible. It just was very expensive. It was the injectable form of Creon. And tablet form of Creon is still very expensive. If you've not ever had to have Creon count your lucky stars, that was a bleak time. That was very expensive. Um, but she was, astonished that I wouldn't let her talk to me that way. And I was like, okay, obviously there's some boundary issues we hadn't discussed. Sweet woman, she had flown me out to visit her and everything. And I mean, she was my best friend for about 3 years. And it crumbled, and I couldn't realize why would you allow that something that is not affecting you? You haven't been sick. You've not seen anybody sick. You live in a gated community, by God. Just enjoy yourself. Why would you pick on somebody that's not around you, not going to make you sick, not bring it in on you? Why would you call them a murderer when they're staying home and doing, as much as they can to not aggravate the problem? But I told her, I said, it just doesn't feel right. I said, it's already mutated once, and never in history has a virus mutated to be stronger. They always go down because they want taxi cabs, not caskets. And I was stupid, I was ignorant, and then I was murder. And that really hurt me. And I mean, it hurt me a lot. I don't think she understood. And so I don't know. I was going to say I don't really talk about. I do. I talk about what I need to talk about, and I just try to let my boundaries be a little bit more knowledge, known for people to be a little bit more knowledgeable about what I will and won't accept. Because I think she thought, oh, she's poor. She won't let a rich friend grow. I'll let a rich friend go. I wanted a friend, not money. And I think it bothered her that I let her go. And I just couldn't believe her behavior. And she got mad at me. She was trying to talk to her daughter, and she said, my daughter just gets super emotional and just calls and just barfs it all on me. And then, like 2 weeks later, she called me super emotional and barfed it all on me. And I said, do you understand what just happened? I said, do you think possibly she's learning from you? I said, do you see what you just did? And she got very mad at me. And I said, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't tell you. I said, you wanted to know why life was getting so hard with her. I said, maybe this is it. Maybe it's learned behavior and you both need to stop it. Which I would have been like, oh, oh God, But obviously she wanted her back patted and didn't want to know the truth. But I mean, I loved her to death, still love her, still think a lot of her. I just couldn't tolerate that kind of behavior. Yeah, I try to put my fences up very visibly at the beginning. So, but I think a lot of that was just we were long distance and we only got to see each other a couple weeks out of the year. And I think that may be what confused her. And she wanted to treat me like she treated everyone else. And that went over like a turd in a punch bowl. Went over like Pillsbury biscuits at the Brotherhood breakfast at church. We want homemade, thank you. So it was just a weird experience. But I mean, I appreciated her. She was, and I had fun with her. But when I visited her, she was like, do you want to go out? And I was like, no, I flew to Texas for 2 days, 2 nights and 3 days. I just want to visit with you. You've got a giant house with a media room and a theater. Why do we need to go to a restaurant? You've got a kitchen and a stove. Why do we need entertainment? You can play football in your house, And she wanted to show me the city, and I'm like, I'm not interested in the city. I came to see you. And she wanted to like show me the town, and I was like, I don't really want to see the town. When I got off the airplane, I realized that Dallas was flat, and that's why they took out JFK there, and that I felt exposed, and there wasn't nothing to hide behind, and I didn't care for it. I live in the land where you walk 6 foot, it drops 20. So I didn't care for Dallas. I've got friends that live, and I got high school friends that have moved to Texas, and I'm like, good on you. I can't live in flatland. But I flew, took a chance and flew out. And Dave was like, you're going to let people you just met a year ago fly you to their home in another state? And I'm like, yeah. I was perfectly safe. I mean, I was still working in law enforcement right before I met her. So I knew how to background people. I knew I wasn't going into trouble. But sweet woman, super lovely woman. Just when she got scared or emotional, instead of cowering in the corner and thinking about things, she attacked viciously. And I thought, all this money, you think you could buy some anger management classes? Just saying. That's why I felt claustrophobic in Dallas. I was flat, and it was like everybody could see me, and I couldn't get away, and it was like claustrophobia, and it was like but it was wide open, and I was like, this is a very similar feeling. I just can't stand flatland. I realized right then I was not a flatlander. I'm never going to move to the plains. And I like bluffs and hollers and hills, and I'm fine with that. I would rather have a tree or a bluff to back around and have a barrier than be in the wide open for everything to see me and me to see everything. I'm weird, I know. I think it's just where you grow up and what you're used to. But it was like I had no defense, nothing to put between us to slow something down to give you 5 seconds to prep. It was weird. I was like, no wonder. A good scope, you could pick off anybody here. No wonder. And they're really touchy if you talk about that there, by the way. Don't talk about it. But I mean, I could see exactly why they did it there. A good deer hunter, shoot anything. Imagine what a sniper could do. I mean, it was a weird experience. Very, very weird experience. We're down to here now. Just got that much left. We're moving right along. Talking so. I ain't watching the Waltons. Normally I watch the Waltons when I sew. I don't know why. It just is what I gravitate toward when I sew. No idea why. This poor needle's getting dull. Oh. Oh no, Lord, I couldn't do that. I have a hard time being on a flat lake, though. I really do. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I feel kind of like I live on the top of the plateau, and it's kind of flat until you go off the edge here, but it's still rugged enough. I like a little change in the scenery, I guess. I just could not stand the flat land. I was like, no wonder tornadoes hit and get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's nothing to stop them. It was an eye-opening experience to land at Dallas Fort Worth. Of course, I just truck along like I own the place wherever I am, and so I just got off the plane and right through Calder, and I said I'll be at gate so and so. Went right on out, and people were friendly. It wasn't an unfriendly place. They kind of eyeballed me a little bit when I talked, but I get that everywhere. And but it was definitely flat. We got on the highway to go home. It was like a 7-lane interstate, and then she stopped somewhere to pick up a pair of earrings she'd bought, and the parking lot looked like a farm of vehicles. It was like 10 of my Walmart parking lot. And I was like, no, I can't handle this. And they had a lot of trees in their gated community, but it was still flat. Everybody had a pond or a lake in their backyard attached to their swimming pool, so it looked like one and the same. And I sat there in a garage one day and was looking out at all the houses down the road, and you could see everybody had the big expensive fountains and the BMWs and Porsche, and they would have the big sprays in their ponds and their lakes and their swim pools and the lights and the landscaping. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of human posturing right here going on. Nobody knew each other, but they knew who had the most money based on what was in their yard. And I was just like, this is sad. You don't know who your neighbors are. Like, I know my neighbors. They're not worth much, but I know them. I know pretty much everybody that lives on the road. Well, I've worked in a field where you had to know a lot of people, so maybe I'm biased, but we know pretty much everybody here, don't we? We have a good idea of people in most people in the area. So, but they didn't know who their neighbors was. They just knew who was richest by the cars and the landscaping. And I thought, okay, I'm going to leave that so I can make some stringies. You think I'd fix my hair and put on makeup before I come on here? I will not. Okay. That gives a nice shoulder framing quality. I think when I add the drapes and put it down about 4 more inches and put drapes, it'll be about right. And then I'll shred these. Is that a vehicle?
Wow.
Snowplow. That's what it was. I couldn't make out the snowplow on our road that's tarred and chipped. That's not smart. I know they had put all the gravels out of the road the other day, and I was like, it's not smart to come down the road. So I'm going to shred these to make dangles. And then we'll add something to the back we can shred and make dangles back there. Mostly across most of it, but mostly across the back too. It can kind of hang down here, but I want it across the back. So maybe I'll have dangles coming here and then these, and then a flap across the back to cover more of the back. And it will fit. It would be bigger on somebody else. I'm a heifer and got big shoulders, so it'll fit somebody else much better. I'm big. Okay. That's it. Sal, I like the ocean where you can see into the horizon. That's the only place that should be flat. I agree. I went to the ocean before. I wasn't too impressed, but it was nice. it was. I was in sixth grade. It was nice. My cousins lived in South Carolina, in Sumter, South Carolina. Is he trying to turn around?
I don't know. I can't see because you put the windows on.
I know I winterized the house, and he can't be nosy now, so he's upset. But we went to Sumter, South Carolina, then we drove all this way to the ocean one day, and it was nice. Like it was pretty. I found some seashells. But I wasn't like enamored. I'm not going to pay to go sit back and sit in a hotel at look at the ocean. It's just it wasn't that grand. It was woo, it's a coincidence, Gypsy. Yeah, they come down this road. They don't know that they got gravel, but they tar chip the top and they tear it all to bits.
They know it's hard to
Really, Denise? Wow. Oh, me and Denise, our families have a lot in common in the strangest ways. We've learned this for the last few years. It's just really weird, some stuff we have in common. It's like we've been all around each other and never knew it. That is just really weird. Yeah, my uncle and his family lived there for a long time. I think he's back in there now, but my aunt, one cousin, and my uncle now are back in around Sumter, South Carolina. And it was pretty. I just was not mesmerized by the ocean. It kind of smelled funny, to be quite honest. I was just not enamored. And I just sat there and I was like, okay, I expected more. But I played, swam in the ocean, picked up seashells. You know, I could have done that at the lake, minus the shells. We'd found mussels. It'd been okay. Exactly. And so that's weird. Snow Pie went by our road and Gypsy's at the same time. When I was trying to figure out what it was, she was too. That's hilarious. Boy, I hope they don't go that hill by your house. They'll get stuck down there. I just spend the night at the lake.
Funny. How many inches they get?
I don't know how much snow did you get, Gypsy. Well, see, my uncle was in the Air Force. He retired from the Air Force. We've got a lot in common,
That
Denise.
wasn't what I asked.
I know I asked. I'm waiting.
Oh.
She's got to type it out. I can't hear her.
Oh.
I'm on a live. She's not talking to me. Give her a minute. She's typing.
Okay.
David wants to know how much snow you got, Gypsy. And he wants to know now. Don't you do that to me.
I'm gonna have something to eat.
I just fed you dinner. I put the leftovers up.
Ooh, something.
Well, pull that peach cobbler out. It made the house smell
That
nice.
smells good.
Yeah, it smells
I've
real
not
nice.
eaten much today.
You've not?
No.
I don't ever eat a lot anymore. Oh yeah, Denise definitely. She said, "I bet you I got more snow, Dave." Denise, you definitely win that. You win that one.
I didn't ask everybody.
Gypsy said she swore she thought the world was ending, and then she figured out what it was. Yeah, that it was making a really strange sound here too. It sounded horrible. It sounded like a jet that was coming into the atmosphere or something. It was
They come
bad.
Down there the road twice today.
You're loud. She said she got about 5 inches, so you got more snow than us. It started to hit here, and then it kind of broke up, and we got like a
Probably means
2 hour
That
nothing.
probably means Burkesville got like 6 or 7 inches.
Yeah, and David's trying to figure out how much fell at Burkesville. He's going to try to see what his options of working anytime soon are. Share the Hillbilly Heart Decor shop for David. He needs all the business he can get.
Shut up.
He's working outside is not working out this winter.
No, I'm good.
Denise has got 21 inches of snow.
I've got a lot.
That's like
got a lot
blizzard
of
for
work
us.
Done, though.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fur work
You
done.
gonna
He said.
eat vanilla ice cream for this?
I wear it well. I know. I could be a Viking lord.
Well, you got no vanilla.
I put vanilla in it. It's got vanilla flavor in it. But no, I don't have any ice cream. I don't think of ice cream. I never want ice cream. Why would I think of ice cream? There's some cottage cheese in there. That would kind of go good with it. Peach cobbler and cottage cheese. I think that sounds nice. I've got some cream cheese. I could whip up like a cheesecake base and bake it.
No. Something happened here because it goes like.
Well, it solidifies and is more juicy in the middle, so it drops.
No, it's higher on one end.
Well, it's because my oven's crooked. I've told you for years my oven's crooked.
That's Jethro's bowl.
Okay. Get you a Jethro bowl full of peach cobbler then. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna get full. But you make them sound like I'm a pig.
I'm picking on him. He says, "You make me sound like a pig."
I ain't had one of these in so long, I forgot what it's like. Good grief.
We got more ice in the few days before this than I was happy with. It just kind of congealed, and we had a couple weeks ago. We had quite the hailstorm right after Oscar passed because David said if Oscar was still alive, he'd be reading a book with a flashlight because every time it stormed and it held or it was really loud, Oscar wanted me to he wanted to sit in my lap and I would read a book with a flashlight. And that was his comfort spot when it stormed. And it came a huge hailstorm after he died because David said if Oscar was still here, you'd be reading a book with a flashlight. And it didn't do much under the mountain. Mom and Dad just got maybe an inch, just enough to say they got snow, and they're just 20 minutes down the hill. But it's down the hill. You slide off the mountain. So we got way more than them.
I'd say we got about an inch and a half.
If you look on that thing where you boil your traps, there's quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it's got ice bulging way out.
Well, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
I'd say we got an inch and a half, 2 inches. Just enough. I gotta get up on the roof.
Oh goodness, bless his heart! You got 5 stitches. I've had several sets of stitches in my day. One time they were stitching my eye back together here because I split it on playground equipment in the 2nd or 3rd grade. I don't remember, 2nd or 3rd grade. And my mother was told to stand in the corner where they put that little circle napkin over your face and numb you to stitch it back up. And I was carrying on a conversation with a doctor, and he had to stop and grab Mom and sit her down because she was getting a little woozy. But like I broke my arm in kindergarten. I've got some war wounds. And then all my occupational hazards and surgeries. I've got some war wounds. I was really good at getting hurt. But now, as I got older, I didn't get hurt as bad. So maybe I learned not to play as rough and tumble as I did. But I've had some stitches. I've had a couple sets of stitches. I've had my knee stitched up, and I couldn't get on my horse to ride. So I popped my stitches and took them out. And Mom got mad because she spent like $400 on those stitches. But it wouldn't let my knee bend, and it wasn't healing very good, and I couldn't get on my horse, so I cut them out. I've got a horrible scar there now, but, I got on my horse. But it was not healing. And she needs to get on to Dad because he's the one who told me how to take them out. He told me how to take them out. He completely gave me the information, like, do with it as you will, and left me my own devices, and I took them out. But I mean, I got on my horse after that. I was fine. It healed. It was fine. I left him in for a week and it just was not healing. The doctor wanted him staying longer and I was done with it and I took him out. And how did I get him? I was packing guitars to the trunk of the car after church on Sunday and fell and caught myself with my knee and it was tar and chip driveway at the church and just happened to be a big bulge of pavement went up and just cut a hunk out of my knee. And I finished loading all the stuff and Mom said, well, do we want to meet them for dinner in town? And I lifted my skirt up and I said, I think you're going to have to take me to the ER. And she about died and rushed me to the ER. And I was like, but I mean, if I had dropped that Martin guitar, I'd have been beat. So I chose to fall on my knee. That Martin guitar was worth a lot of money. It was made out of Brazilian rosewood. My grandpa bought it for my dad. And if I had dropped that thing and broke it, I would never have been able to live. So I chose to bang up my knee and get some stitches. Now, the ones on my face were interesting because my eye was like this for like 2 weeks. That was funny. That's all they ever gave me. Did they give you something else? They only ever numbed me and just left me my own. Be still now. And I was like, okay. I will say the numbing shot hurts a lot, though. That topical, that little tiny sting they do, that's rough. It hurts. It feels like a yellow jacket sting. Look at my hair. That was a lot of hair. Yeah, I've had lots of stitches. I've got a piece of laminate flooring in this thumb. We were putting down wood floor, and I went to bang one in, and it busted and went through my. And David was he was telling me I was going to do it. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And then when it went through my thumb, I stood up and looked at him and pulled it out. And I never flinched or nothing. I just kept on working. But I've got a piece of laminate flooring in this thumb. Yeah, David said it's pretty funny. Well, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get those to line up. I sold a mare to pay for our wood flooring when we built that addition. Stop it. That's half the time. That's all they do. They did give me a shot here. In my knee, they just rubbed something on it. But they did give me a shot here. I guess they thought it was tender.
Gosh.
See, about break your back being a booger.
No. About tendons pulled.
Yeah, it's cold weather. It's not good.
I've been on, well, I stood a lot today. Standing on one foot.
But they did numb me pretty good here.
Yep.
But it's very thin, and I can feel that scar. It's really hard for people to see until I tell them about it, but I can feel it.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Fixing it, right?
He's acting like that guy from Comedy Barn, that dad that laughs. That's what he's doing.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Y'all don't know the grief he gives me when he's not in front of the camera. There he goes. Y'all ever seen that guy, that dad that goes to Comedy Barn and he laughs really funny and like stops the whole show and he becomes the show? The man's got the best laugh I've ever heard. That's exactly what he sounds like. And the guy having the show, he just rolls with the laugh because it's funnier than his material he had made up. You got to look it up. It's on YouTube. It's the dad at the Comedy Barn or something. It's the best video you'll ever watch in your life. I swear it is. Okay, so tomorrow, I'm not going to do more sewing tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to do adding something to the back to do drapes. And we'll see how it goes from there. And rough up the edges and stuff. But I think, for somebody just wanting a costume, I think it'd be okay. I don't think you need a $200 mantle. I think, you can go with a much cheaper one and still have as much fun and still have a good costume. And I may mix up the brown and the light brown and the dark brown to make the dangles on the back so it blends into that brown a little bit better. I'll play with it. It'll turn into something. It'll turn into something. It may not be the prettiest something, but it'll be something. But I just thought there's no reason to rip people off like that. Let's give them a cost-effective way to go to the Renaissance Fair. That's what I'm here for. I'm like Martha Stewart on a budget. David laughed. I'm not Martha Stewart. Snoop Dogg is not my friend. And when they've sewed it to a point, you can pull this out. Look here, people. Look here. I'm going to make me a little line to start splitting. It's stronger than I am. I'm about to lose another nail. That's how easy it splits. And then you just blind sew, or you could just leave them to dangle. I could just sew the ends, they won't split anymore, and just leave them to dangle. But look, that'll dangle like a split now. Oh, I just lost a nail. I lost 2 nails sewing. That's a lot. In their defense, I did the dishes before I got on here. See? And that'll look much more rough. Maybe do that again right here and just bind the edges so it won't undo anymore, which it won't. It just curls back up on itself. I think that's pretty neat. Pretty doggone neat. And I can just, if I can hang on to it, I can just tuck this satin back up in here and do a blind stitch across the edge above the dangles. And so the rest of it's still protected. That's what I'm going to do. Now, if I had a sewing machine that could tackle this, I would be doing, and probably a regular one probably would. I'm just too lazy to get it out. I'm going to play with this, so I'm going to hand stitch it. But that'll protect the rest of it, and then let this dangle. I like that. Yeah, I like that. And I like how the one brown is longer than the other brown. I think that's neat. So this would be cute. I mean, it may not be Vogue Renaissance wear, but it'd be well enough. If they ever get us to where we can sell stuff like that, you'll be the first one. He took in a lot to flesh and tan. He took in some skulls to do. He got a lot of the skulls out, got the teeth out for the people to send back. You've been working on skulls this week too, haven't you? Yeah.
Here we go. Look at pulled up.
I always got interested because the doctors would be like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, I was carrying the guitar to the trunk of the car, and I didn't want to drop the guitar, so I fell on my knee. And they're like, "But you busted your knee open." I'm like, if I busted that guitar open, I'd be dead. And Lane one day was packing the deer rifle to the car. They were going to go hunting after Thanksgiving dinner. And he started to fall, and he held the gun up and fell on his butt, busted his hind end. And he just knew, protect the gun. So he held the gun up and boom, 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 down the stairs. And it hurt his hind end, bless his heart, stove himself up really good. But he was like, I just knew to protect that gun. And I thought, I can't fuss on you. I did the same thing with a Martin guitar. Yeah, it does take a certain type of person to get stitches and be intrigued by the whole event. So kudos to him. I guess now I'm gonna find my nails and go put them back on and change into jammies and get ready for bed. I'm gonna try to sleep since I'm not having to watch a fire tonight. And it's warmer than it's been in a while. I'm gonna snuggle down and turn on my electric blanket to get nice and cozy and snore. And then tomorrow I'll get back to the normal routine. So he's cleaned out the bottom of the stove and off the bricks. And I think he's going to go up top tomorrow and look. Just have to be safe to do that. Maybe it won't snow anymore tomorrow. Oh, David's watching the Comedy Barn guy now. Y'all got to what? Dad at the Comedy Barn.
No, Comedy Barn Funny Laughs.
Oh, Comedy Barn Funny Laughs. There's several of them floating down.
No, Comedy Barn Laughing Man. That's what it is.
Comedy Barn Laughing Man.
Yeah,
there you go. Look it up. You're welcome. You'll laugh your butt off. So I'll leave you with that tonight. Thanks for hanging with me for a little while and starting this project. We're going to see how it ends. And if I do something very interesting, I'll stop before I do the rest of it and try to record or go live again. But this is the idea I'm getting from handling it for the first time. I'm thinking if I just cut the drapes and blind stitch the hems, that it will look natural and organic and like a rustic fur from that time, but still nice enough to want to purchase for a fair. So that's what I'm doing. That's going to be my project for the next couple days. That's why I put on my sweater, because everything sticks to my leggings, but it doesn't stick to my sweater. And I'm kind of very, very little fur came out. I'm kind of amazed. But I'm going to try to finish this over the next couple days and get it posted so that if somebody wants to purchase it, they can. And I'm going to do it at a bargain price for them for the fur so that they have an outfit that didn't break the bank, because I just think $224 is a bit much to ask somebody for a fur wrap when it's one hide in a closure. So David's watching that and doing a laugh now. But I think this will be nice for the person that needs it, and it'll be a great cost-saving measure for them. So I'm tickled with it. I hope y'all are too. Hope it gives you ideas. I'm definitely going to think about headbands and vests. That's what I'm going to be thinking about. And now if you see these things out in the wild, you know what you can kind of do with them too. I have one lady that makes boot covers out of them. And that's great. She does them. She sells them to a suede backing. And it's boot covers you can slide and zip over your feet. She sells a lot of them. I'm not that patient. But I do like to save people money. And when I saw that $224 mantle, this was my avenue to do it. So we'll see how it ends up and see what I come to a price evaluation on it when I get it done. I'll do a model for you, because you know I'm so pretty. And we'll get it on Etsy and see if anybody purchases it. But if you have friends, if you have loved ones, send the Etsy store, tell them to send it to somebody else, get it out there. We do have people that follow us. People are starting to come back in, seeing that David's got it active again and got stuff back up. We are going to be putting some other different hides on there. I put the 2 big boy beavers, one ad quantity of 2. Got the 2 average size beavers. I've got some buffalo tooth necklaces on there, and got some Christmas stuff on there still on there. So if you just want to go and pilfer through it, go right ahead. He's not here, but I'm gonna shout him anyway. Colin has been such a great help to this channel, getting stuff going, getting to the $100 bracket so we can get a check cashed out next month so we can do some donations. So Colin is like this month's superstar, and he's been wanting to buy some dream catchers. I think I'm going to do some massive discounts for him and look at what he's already spent on the channel and take that out of the price. And he's just been a big, huge blessing. He's such a sweet guy. So Colin is like our MVP this month. He's been awesome. We are now at the bracket where we can cash out a check next month. So we're seeing how YouTube works with all this. I'm new to all this. I don't get it. But that Deep River Farm, somebody tagged me in it. That's who I've been watching with the pastor and stuff. That's who I've been vetting, who I've been talking to people about. Seems like he's doing great things, can get me to the right church that I've been listening about that I want to get money to. And they've got a lot of supplies, but they don't have a lot of cash donations for things that they need off the cuff. So I'm thinking about just doing a cash donation so they can do food or whatever else they're lacking. That church and that community is doing awesome things and kind of coordinating for several communities. So that's where I'm going to put the money this time. And hopefully as the channel keeps growing and David puts more trapping stuff on, and I feel like doing some lives winter. I feel like doing some lives because it's winter. maybe things will continue to be watched and numbers will pick up, and we can at least every month at least send what we're going to be sending next month. So hopefully we'll just continue to grow and be able to send more and more and more. But it's nice to see this actually did work out. It's not a lot, but it's more than what they had. And if we can keep going, it'll help a lot of people for a long time, because those people are going to have to be fed for a while. There's not any, give us 2 weeks, we're going to go back to work. People don't have a life left anymore there. Their house is gone, their land is gone, it's in the river now. They don't own anything, but they're not going to get paid back for it. And they lost their jobs. The factory, they got washed away. Their business flooded. They have nothing. And the government and insurance companies are not helping. So this is my avenue to try to help a little bit. And if everybody would try to help a little bit, there would be a lot of help. And I think there is a lot of help, but I think a lot of people don't know how to give. And if you vet your people, you can hand them cash. And I'm trying to vet my people and hand them cash so they can use it for what is necessary, because I know the needs change. Right now it's food, it's meals. So that's what I'm doing. Good. Deep River Farms, I really enjoy that man. He's very easy to listen to. He's very, here's the facts, here's what we're dealing with, here's what you can do, here's what's going on. He doesn't fluff anything. And I just been really tickled with the way he relays information. So yeah, everybody look up Deep River Farms and give him a like, watch him, listen to what he's saying. And if you find another good place and you think it's going to be a place that would be worthy of some donations, let me know. I'm more than willing to start looking at them and vetting them out. But I've been really, really, really tickled with this guy and his behavior. And I just want to support the outreach programs that he's working with. And so that's who I'm going to work with for this go round. The Presley Girls have also got a list of local places you can donate to. They're great. The Presley Girls on YouTube. Appalachia, Celebrate Appalachia. It's their daughters. It's her daughters. You can get a lot of resources from there. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help all I can. And we will have a Temu haul. Part of the local warehouse stuff, some of it was dumped off today. Other stuff is coming in later. But Temu had to pay me back for a lot of stuff that was not delivered in a timely fashion, like the whole order pay me back. So we will have a Temu haul coming, but it's on Temu's dime. So when it gets here, I'll share it with you. The only thing I have beyond that is a plant stand coming, because I just have not been, most of my money's been going places where it's helpful. I did get Hondo a tag. Did you poke yourself with a fork? He bit his tongue. My peach cobbler must be really good, y'all. But I did get Hondo a tag.
Yeah.
And it's got our address and stuff on the back. It's got Hondo on the front. And I just don't want him wandering off and getting lost. I got him stand up. Oh my gosh, I got to put it together, but I got him elevated drink, water and food bowls. And just trying, I know a lot of this. Excuse you. I know a lot of stuff he's going to be like, this is somebody else's. I'm not going to throw away my really nice dog stuff because Oscar's not here anymore. I'm going to let it go to the next one. But I want him to also have new stuff so that he knows, oh, that's mine. So he doesn't walk in thinking he's taking somebody's spot. So I have bought him a couple of things, and we're going to try to make him a home here. I hope it works out. Pray that we don't have a personality conflict. I'm really ecstatic to get another fur baby follow me around, because it's just been really boring being here alone. And I like my dog at night to be my extra warning sense. So I miss my dog. And it's just practical for me to have one. So we're going to welcome him into the family here very soon. And Kim got tickled at him the other day. She said he walked into her craft room and walked out with the scissors, walking up the hallway like he's going to shank somebody. I thought, that's my dog. So I'm tickled. I hope everything works out. I've got my fingers crossed. And I'm just praying that he works out. He is a personality match and not a conflict. So I'm just trying to not give him too much to chew on while he's here until he learns what's off base. So send up some prayers for that too. And we're just working through home without Oscar until we get a new fur baby. And it's been rough, y'all. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Y'all have a great night. If I'm able, I'll see you again tomorrow, or at least do an update on the weather and the mantle. And if I change anything, I'll let you know. This is what I'm doing right now. And if you think I need to change anything, put it in the comments below. And if you've ever scrapped something from old stuff, from old remnants, and were very proud of yourself, tell me what it was below. Give me some ideas. Anything that can be made out of something else, I enjoy. I like to recycle and re-envision things. So give me a tip in the comment box below, or tell me what you would like to see done for a Viking Renaissance Fair outfit, costume, something like that. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Y'all have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow, and pray the snow stays away. Bye, guys. I don't have Oscar here anymore. he becomes